All right, let's dive in. I'm going to hit the go on the timer and we're going to dive right into the question. So, 60 seconds up on the stop clock. The question I get most often, I don't know, most often, question I get a lot from people looking at a trademarks when they bump into another trademark that's out there that they're worried about is there a loophole? Is there a secret way to get around a trademark that really, for all intents and purposes, is blocking you? And the way that they typically ask about the loophole is, hey, can I add a word or a phrase that I'm going to be able to just get around their trademark? So I'm going to add or the, or if I'm in a video streaming platform, an example, if I add the word video or streaming, the example I always give is if Disney was out there and you had Disney streaming and they hadn't trademarked it, if you just add streaming, can you all of a sudden go in or make a competing platform to Disney because you add the word streaming? Short answer is no. There is no loophole. There isn't a simple way that you just get around their trademark. So let's dive into it a bit more. When you're looking at trademarks, it always astounds me. You'll get people that want to have that ability to get a trademark to be able to protect what they have when they have the trademark. And on the flip side, they want to get around or simply get around someone else's trademark. So let's say you had I'm going to call it ABC Pizza, and you went and got you wanted to get a trademark for the word ABC Pizza. What you're wanting to do is you're wanting to be able to get in there. You're wanting to be able to simply box out that, stop other people from using ABC Pizza. And so you're saying, hey, the reason I want to file a trademark is I want to have ownership for ABC Pizza. So nobody comes in, starts a competing, pizza joint, pizza place, opens up a restaurant, sells pizza. And yet, by the same token, and so you want to have that exclusivity. So ask yourself the question, if you had a competitor that came around and said, ABC pizza or the ABC pizza or ABC pizza delicious or ABC pizza awesome. In other words, added a non-brand identifying simple word that really doesn't provide any sort of a substantive or distinguishing thing from your from what is already out there, then what is the or what is the why would you ever want it to file a trademark if all you'd have to do is all your competitor would do is add ABC Pizza to that or add the or the or something of that nature in front of it. So, you can't have it both ways. You can't have it to where there's a loophole to where you add or the or .com or, delicious or awesome and get around anybody else's trademark. And then on this or the flip side, you then, as soon as you get your trademark, everybody that loophole is unavailable to everybody else. So the real answer is there isn't a loophole. There isn't a way that you can get around anybody else's trademark. You can't add a simple word. Now, when you look at it, the other thing you do look at is a couple things. One is the standard for a trademark is what's called likelihood of confusion. Put someone else's brand side by side with your brand, and if a general consumer to look at that brand, they're to look at your brand and say, hey, there's association, there's a tie together, there's otherwise a relationship, then you're going to say, okay, that brand, or if they think it's the same brand or association tied together, there's a confusion. The reason trademarks are out there is to avoid that confusion so consumers can tell between the brands. If you're to think of, putting or the or awesome or delicious or, streaming or net or technology or AI, some generic term alongside your trademark, is a general consumer going to say, oh, this one says ABC Pizza, this one says the ABC Pizza. I would never be confused. If it has the before ABC Pizza and it says the ABC Pizza right next to ABC Pizza, I would definitely think they're two different brands. Obviously not. So there isn't a loophole, a secret thing. And, I'll go through this and then the client or the potential client will inevitably come back and, think it over and say, well, what happens if I add this other generic term that really doesn't do it? So if it was ABC pizza and ice cream, Well, now it says and ice cream. So now it helps to distinguish. No, it's the same thing. They're going to look at it and say ABC pizza is still the predominant thing on both trademarks. And just because you added and ice cream or ABC pizza and burgers or ABC delicious pizza. So I'm going to put delicious between ABC and pizza. All of these things are loopholes that don't work. The trademark office has seen it all. The law is set up to account for it. You're not going to find a secret loophole to where you're really going to be able to use the same trademark as what's already out there and add something generic. And yet everybody thinks that or if you go to an attorney and say, this is a trademark that I want, that attorney has to know of a loophole, a way around it. That's what you hire an attorney for. No, you hire an attorney to tell you the honest answer, which is if there's already a trademark that's out there that's the same or similar, that's for the same or similar products and services, there isn't a secret loophole that's out there. You're better to rebrand. You're better to adjust a brand so that you can have an exclusive brand where you're able to safeguard it, you're able to own it, and otherwise not have someone else get around it. So there isn't a loophole to allow you to knock off someone else's brand and yet by the same token own that brand so nobody else can knock it off. You can't have it both ways. Really, it is you have to have a brand that's unique and identifying. So that's kind of the walkthrough. Everybody wants to have the secret loophole. If an attorney is telling you there's a secret loophole, they're lying to you. It is really, there isn't a loophole. Do a unique brand, do something that's different, that's not already out there. If you find a brand that's already out there that's going to be a conflict, rebrand, do in a different brand, do something that's unique and different than what's already out there. So no loophole that nobody's talking about. Attorneys don't have any special way to account for that. And you're otherwise it's better to rebrand, get something unique and identifying. And that's it.